Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Vishnu Bhagavad Mahamsa Parivadika Jai Ashtadhara Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Thanks. Thanks. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 14, Ideal Family Life. Text 29. Please repeat after me. Yatra, Yatra, Harir, Archa, Sa, Deshaha, Shreyasam, Padam, Yatra, Gangadayo, Nadyaha, Purāṇeshu, Cha, Vishrutaha, Yatra Yatra Harir Archa, Sadesha Shayasam Padam, Yatra Gangadayo Nadya, Purāṇeshu Cha Vishrutaha, Yatra yatra harir archa Sadesha shaya sampadam Yatra gangadayo nadya Purāṇeshu ca vishrutaha. Please chant.
Yatra yatra hare racha Sadeshakshe sampadam Yatra gangadayo nadya Purāṇeshu ca vishrutaha
Yatra yatra hare archa
Yatra yatra hare racha
Sadesha shreya sampadam Yatra gangadayo nadya Purāṇeshu ca visruta
Yatra yatra hare racha Sadesha shreya sampadam
Yatra yatra, wherever. Hare, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Archa, the deity is worshipped. Saha, that. Deshaha, place. Country or neighborhood. Sheyasam, of all auspiciousness. Padam, the place. Yatra, wherever. Ganga Adayaha, like the Ganges, Yamuna, Narmada, and Kaveri. Nadyaha, sacred rivers. Purāṇeshu, in the Purāṇas, supplementary Vedic literature. Cha, also. Vishrutaha, are celebrated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Auspicious indeed are the places where there is a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in which He is duly worshipped, and also the places where there flow the celebrated sacred rivers mentioned in the Purāṇas, the supplementary Vedic literatures. Anything spiritual done there is certainly very effective. Purport. There are many atheists who oppose the worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the temple. In this verse, however, it is authoritatively stated that any place where the deity is worshipped is transcendental. It does not belong to the material world. It is also said that the forest is in the mode of goodness, and therefore those who want to cultivate spiritual life are advised to go to the forest. Vanam gato yat darim ashrayeta. But one should not go to the forest simply to live like a monkey. Monkeys and other ferocious animals also live in the forest. But a person who goes to the forest for spiritual culture must accept the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as shelter. Vanam gato yat dadim ashriyeta. One should not be satisfied simply to go to the forest. One must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this age, therefore, since it is impossible to go to the forest for spiritual culture, one is recommended to live in the temple community as a devotee. Regularly worship the deity, follow the regulative principles, and thus make the place like Vaikuntha. The forests may be in goodness, the cities and villages in passion, and the brothels, hotels, and restaurants in ignorance. But when one lives in the temple community, he lives in Vaikuntha. Therefore it is said here, Shreyasam Padam. It is the best, most auspicious place. In many places throughout the world, we are constructing communities to give shelter to devotees and worship the deity in the temple. The deity cannot be worshipped except by devotees. Temple worshippers who fail to give importance to the devotees are third class. They are Kṛṣṇa adhikaris in the lower stage of spiritual life. As it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.47, Archayam eva hareye pujam ya shadaye hate nate natad bhakte shuchaneshu sabhakta prakrita smritaha. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a prakriti bhakta or Kṛṣṇa adhikari. Therefore, in the temple there must be the deity of the Lord, and the Lord should be worshipped by the devotees. This combination of the devotees and the deity creates a first-class transcendental place. Aside from this, if a grihasta devotee worships the Shaligam Shila, or the form of the deity at home, his home also becomes a very great place. It was therefore customary for members of the three higher classes, namely the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, to worship the Shaligram Shila, or a small deity of Radha, Krishna, or Sita, or Ram, in each and every home. This made everything auspicious. But now they have given up the deity worship. They're worshipping a big rock, right, Govardhan? They've given up the deity worship. Men have become modernized and are consequently indulging in all sorts of sinful activities. And therefore, they are extremely unhappy. According to Vedic civilization, therefore, the holy places of pilgrimage are considered most sacred, and still there are hundreds and thousands of holy places like Jagannath, Puri, Vrindavan, Hardwar, Rameshwara, Prayag, and Mathura. India is the place for worshipping or cultivating spiritual life. The Krishna consciousness movement invites everyone from all over the world, without discrimination as to caste or creed, to come to its centers and cultivate spiritual life perfectly. Om Jnanativedandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Kadidvachalam Pangam Langa Tekadam Yat Kripa Damaham Vande Shri Gurundinitarinam Vancha Kapadu Bishta Kripa Sindhavi Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, translation. Again, auspicious indeed are the places where there is a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in which he is duly worshipped, and also the places where there flow the celebrated sacred rivers mentioned, the Purāṇas, the supplementary Vedic literatures. Anything spiritual done there is certainly very effective. So we have the idea or the principle of holy places. And as we were discussing the other day, holy places are holy not only because Krishna is there in the form of the deity, but they're holy because there are sadhus there. saintly persons who are serious about Krishna consciousness. That is what makes a place holy or sacred. And these sacred places, these holy places, could become overpopulated with people who are not saintly, people who are cheaters, people who are not really devotees, or maybe they are low-class devotees, or whatever particular category you want to put them in. Materialistic devotees. So holy places could become overpopulated by such personalities. And the tendency within religious organizations is they tend to become overpopulated by such people. So what should we do? Kick them all out? Or what should we do? Kick myself out? They tend to become overpopulated by such people. And therefore, things tend to become diluted, watered down, or lost. Just like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, it was a wonderful movement. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, it's ecstatic movement based on love of God, but over time it just became completely lost due to a bunch of cheaters just hijacking the movement, his movement. And people thought of Vaishnavism, and they thought, oh, these Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it's just bunch of sentimentalists and sense enjoyers. There's no real respectable person within such a group, Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Of course, it was reestablished by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, brought to the modern world. But of course, now the challenge is for the International Society for Krishna. The challenge for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is to keep it pure. And you could say, oh, well, there's so many people in ISKCON, how are we going to keep it pure? Well, it's true. It's difficult. But at least the initiated persons who are initiated by spiritual masters, persons who are grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, should try to keep it pure, which means they should know what Srila Prabhupada's instructions are and try to follow them. And they should know what the Srimad Bhagavatam teaches and try to follow it. Now, there's one thing. One thing is to just be completely ignorant and to not know things. And okay, there might be some excusing of such persons, but for somebody who knows, it's a real, at one particular point, it's not really excusable. Just like Vaishnava Aparadha, I mean, you may not know, you may be completely ignorant of cultural or just human interaction in terms of Vaishnava world, but standards in the beginning, and that's acceptable. Just like a child, if the child does something wrong, the parents don't really take it seriously. But over time, they're meant to not do things wrong. So similarly, Vaishnava Aparadha may be excusable in the beginning, But over time, it's not excusable. And what's the proof that one is committing Vaishnava Aparadha? That they cannot chant their rounds. That's proof. Or they cannot chant their rounds attentively. Say, I'm chanting my rounds, but okay, how attentively? Or one is not very happy. One's not taking pleasure in chanting. One is taking pleasure in gossiping, complaining, fault-finding. These are sure signs that one is a Vaishnava Aparadhi, an offender of Vaishnavas. And it's not excusable. It means that we cannot commit Vaishnava Aparadha and expect to be successful. Now someone may say, well, I'm still in the Hare Krishna movement. I still put on tilak, I put on the clothes, Hare Krishna, maybe sometimes. I'm still around. But just because one is around doesn't mean that they have the blessings of Krishna, necessarily. They could be around, they have some of the blessings of Krishna, but they could be around and being punished. And what is the biggest punishment? What is the biggest problem with Vaishnava Aparadha and taking pleasure in gossiping and complaining and fault-finding and offending the Vaishnavas? The problem with it, one of the biggest problems with it is that we are offending Krishna's part and parcels, but aside from that, we really lose out on what it's all about. And what is it all about? What are we trying to attain? Krishna Prem. We're trying to attain love for Krishna. And unless and until we give up Vaishnava Aparadha, there's no question of Krishna Prem. There's no obtaining it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like in his pastimes, he was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, they're in Navadvip. They're touring around. And they go to somebody's home. And they have a sense that this person's a little off. Not exactly. He's a sannyasi. They go to his home and they're invited in. And again, they have a sense that he's not exactly pure Vaishnava. But they go in anyways, so merciful. And they go in, and this sannyasi, who's keeping a wife, it's not exactly what's, but he's keeping a wife, and the wife is, the Lord Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they notice this, that she's there, and they start talking to each other, so what should we exactly do? And then, so what they do is they say, okay, we'll take some fruit. So they take some fruit. And then at one particular point, this sannyasi, he blesses Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says something like, I benedict you to have all material happiness and enjoyment and good wife and good house and all this. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking, because pretty much this sannyasi, he's given him all of these material benedictions. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just says, yeah, this isn't really the goal. The goal's Krishna Prem. And then this sannyasi gets all offended. And he says, how can you instruct me? And I've went to so many sacred places and I met so many saintly people and I know the conclusions here. As you can imagine. So then at one particular point, this sannyasi, he tells the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, oh, do you want some ananda? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking to himself, what's ananda? What is this? And then he looks over at Lord Nityananda, because Lord Nityananda, moves around so many places and mixes with so many different people, and the mood of a preacher. Not that he drinks, but they say if you see Lord Nityananda walking out of a liquor shop, you shouldn't criticize, because you should understand he's there, preaching. So he goes and mixes with all different types of people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mixes with, more high-class people. But, so he looks at Lord Nityananda, he said, what is this Ananda? Then Lord Nityananda said, I think it's liquor. It's alcohol. So then eventually they both just stand up and they say, okay, well, thank you. Yeah, not eventually, immediately. We have our editor here. Yeah, so they jump up and then they run out of the house and then they jump in the Ganga. And it says that they're floating down there. They're floating in the Ganga. It doesn't mention for how long, but they actually float all the way to Advaitacharya's house in Shantipur. So they're floating for quite a while. And then at that point they go and they, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he chastises Advaitacharya. Actually beats him for preaching Mayavad. Which Advaitacharya was doing purposefully because he was sick and tired of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always being so humble and in a mood of a servant, because Advaitacharya was thinking, I'm the servant, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given me all this respect. So then he started preaching Mayavad philosophy openly, and he would say things like, yes, Gyan, the development of Gyan or knowledge is far more superior and important than Bhakti. So he's saying all of this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at the spot and he asked Advaitacharya, is Gyan superior to Bhakti? And Advaitacharya said, yes, Gyan is superior to Bhakti. Then at that point it said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lost external consciousness and anger, transcendental anger. And he took him out to the courtyard and just, beat him. Yeah, and Advaitacharya was very happy. He was saying, he's accepted me as a servant. He's accepted me as a servant. And Advaitacharya's wife, one of his wives, which I realized, I guess he had two. I always thought he had one, but so one of his wives, she was saying, "Oh, please stop. He's an elderly Brahmin. You can't." But it's a happy ending, in that, of course, the whole thing was happy. It was ecstatic. Because Advaitacharya, he was thinking to himself, Lord Chaitanya has punished me, he's accepted me as his servant, this is what I wanted. But at the end it said they embraced each other, they were crying in ecstatic love, and the whole house was crying in ecstatic love for Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's very merciful. He'll even go into a drunkard's house and accept that person as his host, accept fruit from that person. But for people who are Vaishnava Aparadhis, he just doesn't. He stays away from them, like the Mayavadis he just stays away. And the Chaitanya Bhagavat said that he was hiding out in a place, I think it was, where is it, Benares or something. He was hiding there from the Mayavadis. He didn't want to be seen by them because they're Vaishnava Aparadhis. So it's important to as followers of Srila Prabhupada, especially the younger devotees, to try to try to understand these things. Of course, we don't know how long we'll live. Like Srila Prabhupada would say, you think that someone's going to die when they're old, but then Srila Prabhupada would say, we don't know how old we are because we don't know how long we're going to live. someone may be 19 years old and older than a 75-year-old because they'll die soon. So we don't really know. But if things generally go how they do, then the younger devotees, then the younger devotees have a whole life ahead of them, and they have a lot of opportunities to commit Vaishnava aparadhas. They have a lot of opportunities to avoid Vaishnava aparadha. They have a lot of opportunities to serve the devotees, to encourage them, to guide them, to give them shelter, to help them, to educate them, to be a good example for them, to train them in all aspects of Krishna consciousness. There's a lot of opportunities for that. And instead of digging a hole for ourselves by Vaishnava aparadha, deep hole for ourselves, we should just serve the devotees and get the full blessings of Srila Prabhupada. That's how we get the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. If we want to know how do we get the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, we have to serve the devotees. That's what he wants. And in this way, we will contribute to the holy place a holy place remaining holy. We will contribute to the sacredness of a particular place. In this case, the San Diego community. We'll contribute to its to the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. We will contribute to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. We will contribute goodness, transcendental goodness, to this particular project, which is, the best thing we could do, actually, in terms of Krishna consciousness. It's a great need. There's so many people constructing temples all over the world. As Srila Prabhupada said in this particular purport, at the time they're constructing or buying so many places. And now there's so many places, right? This temple popping up, that temple popping up, so many different projects. Devotees are, moving, which is good and fine, but the devotees, amidst all of the money and amidst all of the projects, amidst all the buildings, they have to keep the most important thing in the center, and that is Krishna consciousness, first-class Krishna consciousness, which means taking care of people and avoiding this Vaishnava aparadha and serving the devotees nicely. And then everything will be auspicious. Everything will be good. Everything will be how it's supposed to be. Srila Prabhupada says, men have become modernized and consequently indulge in all sorts of sinful activities, and therefore they're extremely unhappy. Which sometimes people wonder, can you be unhappy in Krishna consciousness? Well, if somebody's actually Krishna conscious, then they're not unhappy. Krishna consciousness means happiness. If you're practicing Krishna conscious, you'll be satisfied, you'll be happy. But it's amazing how much Maya somebody could be in while in the midst of such wonderful service. Like you may be sitting there in front of the deities and just being real Maya. It's amazing, actually. You could be like on the altar, like in front of Radha Giridhar. Ask me how I know. You could be in Maya. You could be there in Maya, right in front of the deities, or chanting Hare Krishna. You could be, it's like real Maya, illusion. It's amazing. So therefore we need to push. One of the names for sannyasi, which, okay, not everybody accepts sannyas externally. Fine, that's good and fine. I mean, it's fine if you want to accept sannyas externally too, but one of the names for sannyasi is yati. It means they're always striving. They're always pushing themselves, not others. Pushing themselves, mostly. I mean, they push others too, but striving for what? They're striving for Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema. They're striving to go beyond illusion. So in other words, they may be affected by illusion from time to time, or they may be in front of the deity and illusion or something, but they're not okay with it. They're striving to go beyond it. So that is the real. That's the real idea. The real idea is that we need to not be okay with being asleep in illusion, but we need to strive to go beyond it. Not be okay with me being a Vaishnava Aparadha, not being okay with me being a gossiper, not being okay with me being a complainer, not being okay with me being a fault finder, not okay with me taking pleasure and putting others down. We should not be okay with that. We should try to strive beyond that. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada says, the Krishna conscious movement invites everyone from all over the world without discrimination as to caste or creed to come to its center and cultivate spiritual life perfectly. So that's what we want to do. We want to cultivate things, spiritual life perfectly, and want to try to help others do that. All right. Any question or comment? Dujamani? Please, you could ask.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for a wonderful lecture on the importance of not committing Vaishnava Aparadha. I was thinking, if you're, like the text mentions, Kanishta Adhikari or Prakrita Bhakta, in this level you have lack of, or you don't have so much knowledge and you're not fully Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
And at this point, the tendency is that you will think of something material and you will make offenses.
Yeah.
So, what should we do if we're on that level? What should I do if I'm on that level? Of course, you mentioned a few things.
it's interesting. It's like a vicious cycle, right? It's kind of like you go to sleep late, and then your japa is poor in the morning, and it's poor throughout the day, and then you take long nap in the day, and then you're not tired at night, so then you go to sleep late again, and then your japa is poor in the morning. So there needs to be a breaking of the cycle. Much of the nightmares that people undergo in this world, I mean, they're nightmares, and they just they just continue, that kind of cycle. So we need to break that. So how do we break that? How do we break this cycle? And we break the cycle of offenses, or the cycle of whatever the particular cycle of problems we're in, our lack of advancement of Krishna consciousness, by associating with more advanced devotees. Just like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about this in the Harinam Chintamani. Everybody should read. Nice book. But he talks about this, and he says that in discussing the 10 offenses to the holy name, he says that if one is in the midst of a Vaishnava who is more advanced than them, then they may be, they may be scatterbrained or whatever it may be. There's all different types of japa. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Mahatma Prabhu, he has a whole list of all different types of ways you could chant offensive japa. It's quite amusing. But share it with you some other time. But if you see a devotee who's more advanced and they're very, they're just chanting clearly and with concentration and with pleasure, you could see. Then you look at that devotee and say, I'd like to chant like that. I'd like to concentrate like that. And in this way, you develop a desire to become or to have qualities that devotee has. I mean, it's the whole principle of guru-disciple relationship. What is a guru and what is a disciple? A disciple sees certain qualities in the guru that they like to have. And then by associating with that person, by serving that person, shushu sho shrudadana sya vasudeva gata ruchihi syan mahat sevya vipra punyatirtana shevanat, by serving great souls who are completely free from vice, great services done, and one gains a taste, attraction for the messages of Krishna. So, we break that cycle by associating with more advanced devotees and by serving them. One thing is, we should see that in relation to the mission of Srila Prabhupada as well. I remember years ago, we were, myself and Toda Gopinath and Giraj Gopal and others, we were out distributing books. They were distributing books, I was trying to distribute books. And but nonetheless, it was very blissful. And I remember we came back, and we're all very enthused, shining, and we just came back, from trying to help so many people. And then the temple president was there, and he was just all this administrative stuff, problems, and this devotee problem and that problem, this managed thing, and so maybe he wasn't shining as much, I don't know. But no, he's a very nice devotee. But he looks at us and he goes, "Oh, all of you you're shining. You're so happy." And we were. It was very blissful. So what I'm bringing this up because we should look at the mission of Srila Prabhupada in that way, that we're serving him, pure devotee. There's many pure devotees, but we're serving Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya, pure devotee of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And by that service, that will give us a taste for the holy name. So we should always remember that. So our book distribution, our Harinam, our outreach programs, where we're trying to, Monday, Thursday, Friday, all of these different things. Anything connected with any of these programs, we're serving Srila Prabhupada, and it will help us develop that taste. In other words, we can move beyond the lower stages. Yeah. So I hope that satisfies you to some degree. Maybe not fully, but
regulate your lifestyle, break the cycle, and try to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada and associate with advanced devotees.
Yeah, that helps. Brigupati Prabhu's coming with LA devotees, just for one day, the 16th of this month. I remember, Brigupati Prabhu, he's a very humble devotee. And he just, he's humble in so many ways. I sometimes I ask devotees questions when I go to communities. I say, who's your favorite devotee in the community? And, sometimes devotees are like, well, I don't want to give favorites. I said, well, like, who inspires you the most? I kind of push him a little bit. And then many devotees in LA, they say, oh, Brigupati Prabhu, he's very inspiring. Or some of the devotees say that, what was his name? He would sit there and distribute the Mahaprasadam, Hispanic. Sit there and Vaisheshika Prabhu disciple. Anyways, I'm forgetting his name. But they would say him also. Many people would say that the same two people. Very interesting. So, but yeah, Brigupati Prabhu is very inspiring in that he's just like a powerhouse. He's 70, I don't know what, at least 75, if not older. And he's just like, booked every day. He's going out, and the young men are having a hard time keeping up with him. But I remember one time he was visiting here, and we were going distributing. He was showing me the science of doing shop to shop, like a national city and other places. And we were driving. I was driving him, and I started to ask him a question. I said, "Yeah, it seems that some devotees they're not really so much into preaching or into, they just want to do deity worship or, And I didn't think I was, being critical, but he saw something there, and he said, "Oh, you just like cut me off." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to criticize any devotees. If they want to do that, then that's," which is interesting because he's a book distributor, and you expect everybody to. So in other words, he was saying, he was appreciating the different services devotees were doing. So, yeah. Anyways, he's coming down the 16th with LA devotees, and they're coming at 11:30, and they want Dravida Prabhu to meet with them and tell them something about Krishna consciousness, maybe the history of the temple. I don't know, I guess you could talk with them and see what they want exactly. And then they're going to have kirtan here from 12 to 12:30, and then they're going to have prasadam and hang out a little bit, and then they're going to go back to LA. Yes. No, just short trip. And somebody's going to bring a bunch of donations, $1,000 worth of donations for the, like boga donations. All right. So yeah, in other words, you could take the dust from his feet, and you could give him some sweets and give him a garland and ask him some questions and try to serve him. This will help also. Any other last question? I think you had a question. Maya? Maya. Maya means illusion. So, for example, the Bhagavad Gita explains how we're not the body, but we're the soul. So to think that one is the body, or to think others are their body, or see them on the bodily platform, that is Maya. That's illusion. So that's an example. But there's many types of, many ways, many things we could say about Maya. But maybe tomorrow we'll talk about Maya. All right. Okay, so there's some Kartik events, programs continuing. This morning, there's one from 11 to 1 at Meera and Shivani's. And then in the evening, there's another one, Vamsi and Kalpana. So everybody's welcome to attend 2 or 1, or you could just not even attend either of them. You could just chant if you want, or whatever. But so if you want more information about that, Mukunda Charan Prabhu knows, and give you the address and so on. Okay. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.